Basically, everyone is in favor of voter ID. It's not controversial or partisan. 83% of Americans, according to Pew Research in August, support showing ID to vote. And while Democrats are pulling out the usual shtick that voter ID is racist Jim Crow that will harm minority voters because apparently to them, black people are too stupid to acquire and show ID at poll stations, Republicans are also, as usual, trying to ram through last-minute legislation for their midterms that's easy for Democrats to lambast in the public narrative because they didn't lay the groundwork to make it bulletproof when they've had control of the House for the past 3 years. In reality, the SAVE Act doesn't make voting significantly harder for you if you've actually taken care of your important legal documents. The 32-page bill would mandate that states collect in-person documented proof of citizenship, such as a U.S. passport or birth certificate, before registering an individual to vote in federal elections. The legislation would also require voters to present voter ID when voting in person, but that's just any normal ID. The additional documentation is required when registering to vote. It also makes new requirements for mail-in voting, directing voters to provide a copy of an approved ID when both applying for and submitting an absentee ballot. However, you can literally order a new one online using other documents like a passport or driver's license. And if you don't have a birth certificate, passport, driver's license, or social security card to prove who you are, I don't really know what to tell you. I mean, the most expensive states to get a replacement birth certificate are North Carolina, Connecticut, and New York at a whopping $30, and social security card replacements are free, so it's not a cost issue. Individual carelessness for their own documentation is not a reason to dismiss voter ID. When you actually think these things through and consider that these would be requirements to register to vote, not necessarily requirements to bring to poll stations, it seems relatively straightforward. But due to the legalistic wording that all of our legislation has to be written in, it leaves a lot of room for the opposition to voter ID to paint a narrative of disenfranchisement and exaggerate the difficulty of the proposed rules, or use unrealistic hypotheticals to decry voter suppression. It's always more difficult for people who want to add rules to justify how they'll make things better. It's much more easy and convenient to be on the side that appeals to the laziness of people and say that people should just be able to show up and vote. But if we want to improve voter confidence and election confidence, security measures, especially popular ones like voter ID, would help that. And all of this could have been so easy for Republicans if they had some foresight and laid some groundwork to avoid losing control of a narrative over a very popular proposition. All of this controversy over the SAVE Act could have been so easily avoided if Republicans had thought to implement policy to set up voter ID by first phasing in an Enhanced ID mandate nationwide, which offers easy proof of citizenship and can be done on people's own time. It's pretty unlikely that even if the SAVE Act is passed eventually, which won't be quick with the Democrats likely to filibuster the bill for as long as they can, that the bill will be implemented by this year's midterms. Republicans waited too long, so give the 45 states who have not implemented Enhanced IDs a year or two to start verifying citizenship at license issue or renewal. And then guess what? Everybody's driver's license is also their voter ID card and general proof of citizenship. No hubbub about birth certificates or marriage certificates or tribal documents, nothing. Just flash your Enhanced ID and you're good. People on work or student visas can still get IDs like they do now, they just won't be enhanced, and obviously won't be valid for elections. Enhanced IDs would make so many things so much more convenient. Not just for voting security, they would also help prove citizenship to, say, immigration enforcement, but that's a whole different topic. It's crazy to me that only 5 states offer Enhanced IDs. I get they're border states with lots of commerce across the Canadian border, so drivers being able to go to and from Canada with just their driver's license is very convenient. But it also works with travel to Mexico, so southern border states would benefit too. And other government functions requiring multiple forms of ID could be streamlined as well because you've already pre-proven your identity in the Enhanced ID process. There are just too many benefits for it not to be a nationwide thing. There are a couple other things I think everyone would like and further secure elections. One is to make Election Day a national holiday and maximize voting hours to make sure everyone has time to show up. Another is to add more poll stations to reduce waiting lines and travel distances. Third would be to limit mail-in voting to people with disabilities. And lastly, to expand early in-person voting, again to give people who have to work Election Day or travel for work the opportunity to vote in person. Preferably with Enhanced IDs, but any other form of ID as outlined in the SAVE Act would obviously work as well. An option for the expansion of poll stations, just to throw one out there, are regional banks. They're already closed 1 day per week that could easily be contracted for once every 2 years. They have cameras everywhere, and they have an entire vault to store ballots securely if you need to store them. We don't have to make this difficult. We have all the infrastructure to accomplish these things, it's just a matter of will and planning. I'm sure there are plenty of bipartisan volunteers who would be happy to help facilitate in-person voting. If people want to strengthen our system, increasing public trust and participation is the way to do that. That means making voter ID as simple as possible, but having it and making it effective. That means adding poll stations to increase participation and utilizing bipartisan volunteers to improve accountability measures. These are not controversial ideas, and while our system is made for gridlock to ensure only popular policies make it through and prevent legal flip-flopping between administrations, this is one of those popular policies. Republicans are doing the right thing by introducing actual legislation to cement nationwide voter ID, and it's no surprise that Democrats are pulling out the predictable retorts. But because of a lack of planning, Republicans have allowed themselves to be pulled into a muddy narrative battle instead of a simple political victory most people have been seeking for decades. Mandating the gradual shift to Enhanced ID would have saved Republicans and Americans so much headache to gain confidence and security in elections. But the government just can't make anything simple, can they? Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think about the SAVE Act and if you would do anything differently. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.